And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review. This is Artemus from One Force, and Artemus is completely and utterly free to play, has been playing for approximately 1 year, no money spent in the game. So after 1 year of gameplay, this is what you can kind of expect to see. Now Artemus is at a standstill, kind of a lock. What should he focus on? He's unsure. It's been a year, and now there's just so many directions in the game to go. This way, that way, this way, that way. It's so stretched, so thin, doesn't know what he should do. He's saying, please help. I don't even know what to ask for. Just do a roster review and give me focus. I need focus. And so that is what we are going to do. So the first thing we're going to look at is Arena, because he didn't ask for anything. He just said help. That's basically all he said, and that is enough. I already know what he means by that. We're going to go through it all. For first, Arena, that's where you're going to get your crystals and where you're going to be able to delve in and get as good as possible through your development. You're using your wedge and your bigs and turret. That's awesome. Now you are using Stormtrooper Han and Lando, and what I'm going to suggest is 2 other characters. Now with wedge, lead, bigs, turret, that's a great team, but to get out of the top 400 and get into the top 200 and possibly into the top 100, you're really going to need to bring another level of durability and connivingness to your team. Connivingness, yes, that's a word I just created. Enjoy that. So R2-D2 and Baze Malbus are both at gear 7 for you. And both of them are really clutch or critical for your team that you have now. Baze is a much better tank than Stormtrooper Han, and R2-D2 is going to be much better than Lando. Both of them you're going to need to gear up, but even now you can stick them in the team, and you're going to see an immense difference immediately with these 2 characters, because Turret and Baze together have a synergy unlike anything else. And so Baze is going to be more durable, Turret's more durable when they're together. Every time Turret goes below 100% health, Baze is going to taunt and protect him, and Turret's going to be healing Baze Malbus nonstop. And R2-D2 has a stun on his basic, and he's going to stealth everybody and make everybody hit Baze. So if you had one thing that you wanted to focus on Baze, as much gear as possible, make him your #1 gearing priority, and then R2-D2 your #2 gearing priority. So gearing priorities, Baze and R2-D2, and then make R2-D2 as fast as you possibly can so he can get that stealth off, so he can protect your bigs, your wedge, and your turret and himself, but he'll also be stunning individuals. So definitely those are the 2 that I would have for Arena, and I don't want to give you much because, again, you've only been playing for a year. You're completely free to play, and you're trying to figure out where should you focus. I'm giving that to you right now for Arena. 2 players, gear them up and mod them up well. Give Baze as much protection as humanly possible. He does not have to be fast, just protection, protection, protection. And with R2-D2, make him as fast as you can possibly make him. Okay, so there's those 2. Now we look at your Arena, and actually with Ships Arena, you're doing even better. You're almost in the top 100 in Ships Arena. And I see the team you're using, and for the team you're using right now, because you're in the top 100 basically, I would continue to use it, but I want you to focus on another team. I think there's another better team that you could have that could really get you into the top 100, even possibly the top 50. Okay, this is going to take a little development, but you're going to want to focus on these particular characters. Now, the first character or individual you're going to use is Executrix. Executrix is actually your most powerful ship that you have for the captain ships, the capital ships, and so the Executrix is the one I'm going to suggest. It has a really, really nice AoE that's going to bring in a bunch of TIE fighters, the TIE Strike, which is going to just decimate the other side, but takes 5 turns to get there. So you've got to survive through 5 rounds before you can use this. Now you're going to be able to get extra turn meter from certain ships to speed this up, and you're going to be able to use certain ships that are really tanky to delay the inevitable. So that is why you're going to use the Executrix, and then we're going to throw a team together. The Umbaran Starfighter is one of them. Now he is in your 3rd row in the middle, or on the far right, and the Umbaran Starfighter can target lock himself. He can also dispel on his basic, which is pretty awesome. And so this is one of those tanks you definitely want in your original 5. Also Biggs. Biggs is your most powerful ship. He's a great taunting tank, can target lock on his basic, and obviously every time a target lock occurs, he gains more protection. So he's just a really hard tank for them to kill. And then, of course, TIE Advanced is your second most powerful ship, and that is a guaranteed target lock, so definitely use that. And then right next to him is the Imperial TIE Fighter, which you're going to want to continue to obviously gear Darth Vader and the pilot right here, the TIE Fighter pilot. You're going to want to get TFP up, continue to gear him. I think you have him at gear 8. Continue to gear him up past gear 8, but this ship is a definite staple. Have this ship plus the TIE Advanced, Biggs, and Barin. And then lastly, in your top 5, I would put the Scimitar. Now, obviously, you're going to have to finish leveling up Darth Maul, and as far as gear, getting him up to gear 8, gear 9, and then you're going to want to also continue developing this ship. I know the ship doesn't drop a lot, but it would be a good ship in your initial 5. You could stealth everyone almost immediately, put it on your Biggs, and then Biggs is going to constantly get protection regeneration. It's excellent. So definitely I would use the Scimitar in your initial 5 lineup. Also in your backup, I would use Slave 1 coming in. Slave 1 is a great ship once you've target locked a bunch of people to come in and do a ton of damage with his AoE. And then also you have in your top Wedge Antilles, who's an excellent ship, going to do a lot of damage, and he's one of your highest geared characters. Have him as your second backup. And then lastly, Jedi Consular, one of your strongest ships, calls assist, protection regeneration, would be a good last ship in your lineup. Now, with that said, I would still recommend you use the existing ships that you have now until you get this team developed fully, but you could take this team in and see how it does, and if it does better than the team you have now, switch now and then start developing them all. And if you switch them and you don't do well, then just focus on them until you get them higher level, higher gear. But the team I'm giving you is an in-game team. It's a team that you could use for the next year. You don't have to change it ever again for the next year. So these are the last ships and the last pilots you're going to have to really focus on. That goes for anybody watching. So I'd highly recommend, again, the same ships that I just suggested. So we've gone over kind of your gearing and farming for your arena team. We've talked about your pilots that you're going to have to focus on and the ships that you're going to have to focus on. And that is going to be what you're going to work on for the next 2 months. Okay, so for the next 2 months, focus on your Baze Malbus, your R2-D2, and your ships and your pilots. And you can focus on it past 2 months from now, but that's your primary objective over the next 2 months. All right. Now that you have a 2-month goal, we're going to give you a longer goal, which is going to be a 3 to 6 month goal. So your arena team with R2-D2 and Baze, your pilots and ships, that's from now for the next 2 to 3 months that you're going to focus on solely. After that, you're going to have a new goal, and that new goal is going to be 3 to 6 months out. You can kind of do it on the back burner, and you know where you're going next, and that is going to be, boom, Resistance. Now, the good news with Resistance is they only need 1 Zeta for the entire team, and I know it takes forever to build up a Zeta for your team. The second is they're not too hard to gear, and 3, you don't have to gear them that high to begin with. Gear 8, Gear 9, it's about all you need to take them, which is about all people can take them, being free to play anyway, but you can get all of these guys up in a few weeks to Gear 8 and Gear 9, most of them to Gear 8 within a few weeks, so pretty good. Farming them is going to be what takes the longest, so really just going for their stars. But like I said, arena and ships are going to be where you get more of your currency and things like that for development, so you want to focus on arena first, ship second, and then you're going to want to have a longer goal for 3 to 6 months out, which is a really, really good, well-running Resistance team. This is going to help you in Galactic War, hard light side nodes for light side battles. It's going to help you with the raids, and this is giving you one more team to really focus on. Also for territory battles, it will help. And then you also wanted to know, so you've got short-term goals and long-term goals, which is, by the way, the first time I've ever done that for anyone, setting up specific goals. So I hope that really helps you. You also asked about mod farming. And so what I'm going to suggest for mod farming, and this is for you for free to play, but anyone who's free to play, this is my suggestion. Monday through Friday, I would focus on just farming for characters as much as you can, wherever you can get them, get your characters and all of that, and don't worry about mods Monday through Friday. On the weekends, I would forget about all character farming, and I would focus all Cantina energy and all regular energy on gearing, and Cantina energy on getting mods, and I would farm every weekend for mods and make it a staple, just every weekend mod farm. And if you start doing it a couple of days in a row, every single week, you are going to start to get some mods that are going to help, because really this is what happens. Your mods are inferior to everybody else on your squad, on your leaderboard, and so what happens is you can't compete, and so you can't climb. Even if your guys are getting higher in gear, you still can't win, and that's where mods are going to come into play. So definitely going to have to put a priority on mods. I would do it 2 times a week. I would just make it the weekends. It makes it easy for you. It becomes a process. It becomes a something that you do. Just weekends we mod farm, weekdays we character farm. Make it like that, it will become easy. So I hope this helps your focus in arena. I hope you've got a couple of characters now you're excited about gearing and ready to go. I hope ships and this alternate team for ships that I've given you is going to give you some ships and some pilots to focus on, and I hope this resistance team is going to give you someone to look forward to in the next 3 to 6 months after you get through all of these arena and ship characters, and or someone you can kind of back burner farm when you have a little bit more time. As always, if anybody has any suggestions or tips for Artemis, leave them in the comments down below. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.